Hello and welcome to the channel where we talk about all things Weiss Schwarz and chill with friends. My name is Liam and today we're going to be talking about my BanG Dream 8-2 Soul deck profile. Now if you are new to the channel here, please consider hitting that subscribe button, and if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit that like button. As well as that, if you haven't already, please check out my other social medias on Twitch and on Discord. Links are in the description below. But let's jump straight in. So in today's video, like I said, I'm going to be talking about my 8-2 Soul deck profile. And it's been a while since I've done a deck profile. If you want to see more deck profiles, check them up here where you can see my deck profile playlist on my YouTube channel. Where I've done quintessential quintuplets and my 2 Soul Bofuri deck profile. I've wanted to do a deck profile for a while now, and basically I wanted to wait until I did something and had something a bit more unique. And this, I believe, definitely fits the bill. Now, a bit of backstory as to why this deck came into existence. One day I was on my way home from Top Deck In with my very good friend Emily, and we were talking about the 5th anniversary set and what sort of things could happen with that. And we saw the idea of, oh, there's the level 1 Akko combo, and there's also the level 3 Kasumi combo from the start deck. And we thought, maybe this is something we can actually work with. Maybe this is something that actually is a viable deck. Maybe this is something we should make on stream. So we did. And like I said already, if you haven't checked out my stream channel, check my Twitch. Link is in the description below, where we stream at least every Monday and every Thursday with some Weiss gameplay, as well as playing some other games like Minecraft, and then casual ad hoc streams for Weiss Schwarz as well, deck building, we do all sorts, so make sure you check out my Twitch channel. We're trying to get to 200 followers, we're really close actually, so if you could hit that follow button on Twitch, that would be very much appreciated. Link is in the description below. And as part of that stream, we basically agreed that we wanted to make a budget deck incorporating both of these 2 Soul combos. And if you check through my Twitch, I think the video is still live, you can check out that video in the VOD. And we had Callum as well on the line as well. So Callum was a big help in terms of going through some of the anniversary cards. But this is basically the birth child of me and Emily. That sounds odd. Sorry, Emily. Maybe choose better choice of words. On that note, let's jump straight into the deck profile. So the deck consists of 18 level 0s, and the ones that you want to see first of all really are the level 0 Sio, which is when this card is sent from stage to waiting room. You may pay 1, put a character from waiting room to the bottom of your clock, which is Roselia or Anniversary, and if you do, you get to choose a Anniversary, Roselia, or the 1-0 counter event, which we'll come to later, from waiting room and return it to hand. It's a pseudo Ricky, it works with the level 1 counter as well, which is really good, and the fact that the salvage has not got a level restriction means that you can get your level 1s easily. If you need to get your level 3s later game, you can do that as well. It's just got some really, really good synergy, some really good flexibility. I think this is a 3 to 4 of as an absolute must. This deck isn't 100% finished. There are some cards that I'm still waiting to arrive in order to make this complete, which is the level 0 Addison Chaser, which is a 1k base, and if you've got 5 more cards in hand, it gains 2k, and your opponent can side attack against it, and it's a chaser, meaning that it can run in front of something else during your opponent's attack phase. Basically the same as the Goblin Slayer Chaser, which is known to be a really good card. The other level 0s that we run so far, we run 4 copies of the JC Yukina from the start deck, which is on the play of another character up to twice per turn. This card gains 1000 power, so it can go to 4000 power during your turn. And also, when your other character is front attacked, you may pay 1, send this card to your waiting room, and if you do, choose that character being front attacked to return to your hand. Again, if you want to reuse some cards to just bring them back to hand so they don't die, like the Brainstorm, which I'm talking about next, it's just a nice card to be able to keep your hand up if you need to. Talking of the Brainstorms, here are the Brainstorms from the start deck. It's a pay 1, rest self, top 5, for a draw Brainstorm for every climax that you hit, and also during the beginning of your climax phase you may choose one of your level 1 Yukinas, which I don't run in this deck, from the start deck, or the level 3 Kasumi, which we do run in this deck, and you can give 1000 power and a soul, which becomes super relevant in the late game, which we'll cover when we actually get to our level 3s. Finally, we run 3 copies of the Masking Climax Swapper, which is a pay 1, ditch 1 on play, sorry, pay 1, ditch 1 climax on play. you can salvage a climax from your waiting room, so it lets you swap your climaxes around. Now the reason why I run this as a 3 of, because it's so important to get your level 1 climax in hand, because you've got no other way of getting it to hand if you don't see it. So running as a 3 of, it worked in both 3 for that 2 soul build, which you haven't seen that deck profile, check that out. But yeah, I like this card, and it also it's got a second effect as well, which is when you play this card from hand, you can choose one of your opponent's characters that's level 0 or lower, and return it to hand. It doesn't matter if they've got a full board, you can just choose one of the level 0s, return it to hand, which means that you can deal with problematic cards such as Slayers, other JCs, just other cards that are like runners and things like that. You've got some real good options to deal with level 0 problem cards. And the final card that we run as a 3 of is the Mashiro Clean Cut, which is during your turn it gains 1000 power, and when this card reverses your opponent, you can choose one of your other characters, rest it, and then move it to an open slot if available. You can run this card. I'm considering taking it out to basically prioritize the Adder Chasers, but there are opportunities where this card is super useful. If I were to take stuff out for the Addisers, I'd probably drop the JC down to 3, I'd probably drop the Brainstorm down to 3, and I'd probably drop the Clean Cut to 2. I think 3 Chasers is fine. If you wanted to run a 4th, you can make something else as well. But this is a pretty solid level 0 lineup. I don't think you want more than 18 level 0s, because you do need characters with level 1 or higher just in general, as we'll come to when we go to our level 1 game. Moving on to the level 1 part of the game, you run the star of the show, the level 1 Akko. It's a 4000 power base level 1 blue, and on play from hand or from memory, it gains 3000 power, and climax combo with the blue 2 soul is during the beginning of your encore step. If you have the blue climax in play, you can choose this card from your front row, send it to memory, and if you do, you bring it back to stage during the beginning of your draw phase with an extra 3500 power, also known as a time machine combo. That will be covered on my Weiss and Chill Academy slang series at some point. We haven't covered that yet. And basically, it's just a really good card. It comes out, it deals damage, it comes with a 2 soul, so you can side or front to do whatever damage you want to. It comes back at 10,500 power with the combo afterwards, dealing with a lot of standby, just big targets on the board. It helps you maintain board as well as that. It means that when your opponent comes to attack you, they basically direct attacking you, which if you've got a good deck compression state, it means that you have a much better chance of causing cancels to happen. That, and as well, you're not having to use hand resource by replaying cards because they just come back from memory. It's just a really neat combo, and the fact it's on a 2 soul makes it even better in my opinion. The other level 1 that we do run in this deck is the 1-0 Roselia event from the 5th anniversary set. It is you can only play this card as long as you've got another anniversary or Roselia card on the field, and also when you play this card, you mill the top 2 cards of your deck, and you salvage up to a level X, where X is equal to the combined level of the cards milled by this card's effect. Basically, it's cigarettes, which if you haven't already, check out my Weiss and Chill Academy series, where I talk about Weiss slang. That is on this channel as well, so here's the link to that up here, so feel free to check those out. And yeah, it's basically a really good card, and it got a lot of synergy. Again, it synergizes with the level 0 Sayo, because you're able to salvage it if you need to just get through your deck, or to get another card from waiting room, or if you need to mill your deck to get the card into waiting room to get the salvage that you need, i.e. if you need to get Akko to waiting room. It's got a lot of great synergy as well, and there is a level 2 that we're going to talk about literally next, which basically utilizes the fact you're running 4 events in your deck as well. So, and the fact it's a counter as well means that you don't have to do it just during your turn. You can do it during your opponent's turn as long as you can activate the counter step. It's just a really good card, and it works in this deck very, very well. Moving on to level 2, we do run 2 copies of this Arisa. It is an on play. If you have an event in hand, you can discard an event, and if you do, refresh, meaning that you put all your cards in your waiting room back into your deck and not take refresh penalty. As well as that, when it attacks versus a level 3, it gains 6,000 power for the turn. So basically it becomes 11,500 versus level 3 or higher. And the fact that you can get a free fresh package out of it, which is the reason why we run 4 of this and not less, or not, not none at all. Just having this free fresh package when you are running a lot of blue in the deck, especially when you're focusing on anniversary as a set, it's just a really nice package. Yeah, I rate it. I rate this package so much. It doesn't happen very often, but when it does happen, it is so good. Another level 2 that I'm running is 2 copies of this Mashiro. It is a global 1k to Morphonica anniversary characters, and also when you trigger a climax, you may discard 2 cards from your hand to heal 1. Again, this deck sees a lot of times where you have more than 7 cards in your hand when you go into your attack phase. It's quite easy to do that because you've got the plussing from the Brainstorm. You're not playing a lot of cards from hand because of the Echo. You're keeping hand resource in terms of your event. You've got the Ricky's plussing hand as well. You've got the JC plussing hand as well. You've got the clean cut keeping board if you want to bring cards back. So having more than 8 cards or more than 7 cards in hand during your attack phase isn't the most uncommon in this deck. So to be able to have a discard outlet for cards as well as a heal for that is really neat. The other 2 level 2s that we run 1 copy of this Futaba, which is on attack. If you can choose one of your other characters to gain 2 soul, which on its own seems a bit overkill and a bit not irrelevant. But when we talk to our level 3 combo, you'll understand how important this card is. And we also run 1 copy of this Lisa counter. It's a 2/5 counter, but if your opponent's backup, and if your opponent's got a climax in play when you use this backup, it actually becomes a 4,500 backup. Basically, you're using this during your level 3 turn. Before that, you're not going to have a character on board that's worth saving and using this on. But to basically save your level 3 early plays or your level 3 climax combo with a 4,500 power pump, bringing them to between 14,500 and 16,000 just to keep on the board for next turn. This is nice to have as a one-off. You don't use it very often, but when you do need it and when you do want to use it, it is rather nice. That's it for level 2. Let's jump into our final part of the game, the level 3s. So starting off with the early plays, we run 2 copies of this Rui from Morphonica. It's a 2 or less climax early play healer, but the heal is discard a card and choose a Morphonica or anniversary character in your clock and return it to hand, and also it gains 500 power for each card in your back row. So it's basically 10-5, 11-5 if you've got the Mashiro out. It heals to hand, which is really neat, so if your card gets lost into clock, you can heal to hand, which is really good. It's just a nice option. Plus it's a 2 or less climax, which when you combine it with the free fresh package, you've got a good chance of getting a good heal here. The other early play we run is this 3/2 Tai, which is it loses a level in hand as long as you've got 6 or more climaxes in hand. So if you're not able to free fresh and you've managed to get through your deck quite a bit, it's early play as long as you've got 6 or more climaxes in bin. And also if you've got 2 or more other anniversary characters, or party characters should I say, it gains 2,500 power on the stage, and also on attack pay 3, ditch 2, burn 3. And its final fact is on play, you may discard a card from your hand, and if you do, you heal a card to stock from the top of your clock. Yeah, it's a good card. It's not very often you get this out early, but sometimes you can. Stock heal is always nice to get around. If you do have anti-heals that you have to play around, it's just nice to have anyway. And the fact that you can basically do a burn 3 for when you use its full effect, it's for pay 2, ditch 2 rather than pay 3 because you're replenishing a stock by healing to stock. Yeah, it's a nice alternate damage outlet. Talking about alternate damage outlets, we also run 2 copies of this 3/2 Aya, which is an on-play heal, and also on attack you may pay 2, discard 2 to burn 2. Again, an off-climax burn, off-climax damage outlet. It's just a nice card to have if you need it. It's another heal option as well. It's just a nice card. And finally, the Piece à la Resistance. We run 4 copies of this Kasumi level 3 climax combo, which obviously combos with the red 2 soul. So it's on play search. So as long as you get 1 to hand, you know you've got some in deck, you can just basically make sure you've got a full board as long as you've got a stock to use. And also on the end of this card attack, if you've got the red 2 soul in play, you can do an Icy Tail effect for X, where X is equal to this card's soul. Now, Icy Tail is the coined term used where you mill the bottom X cards of your opponent's deck, and then you burn for the number of climaxes revealed from the card effect. And the way that X is determined on this card is, like I said, is equal to this card's soul at the end of attack, meaning it's got a base 2 soul, it's on a 2 soul climax, meaning it's always basically, unless you side attack, it's always doing Icy Tail 4, You've got cards like the 2-1 Futaba mentioned here, which can give an extra 2 soul. You've got the Brainstorm that give an extra soul as well. You can get this to 8, 10. I think the maximum physically possible is 12 soul. So the fact that you can do that is pretty nuts. So you can try and swing for 12. If that sticks, you pretty much won. If it doesn't stick, you then Icy Tail the bottom 12, meaning that you're most probably going to refresh their deck. You're also probably going to hit some climaxes to do some burn on the combo as well. It's just a really neat card, and I absolutely love it. And the flexibility you've got that you can side to reduce that number if you want to. There's a lot of flexibility you've got with this, and I think it's absolutely great. Is it the best combo in the world? Of course it isn't. Is this from a start deck, a deck that literally cost 555 yen, or about £3.50, and you got 4 copies of it in that deck? Do I care it's not the best finisher in the deck? No. Do I care the fact it's on a 2 soul and it's freaking fun? Absolutely. But what I'm going to do now is basically show you an ideal scenario for the level 3 game, and you know, a sort of an option of where you can really push your damage output, as well as optimizing your combo, as well as showing, like, you know, an easy example of how you can get this card to more than 8 soul easily. So imagine that you've got the stock and you've managed to play out this board, and you've got 1 card in hand, which is going to be your climax card. What you would do here, so beginning of climax phase, effect, choose a character to gain a soul. So it has to be either the Kasumi level 3 or the Yukina level 1, which you don't run. So I'll just choose this. Use this one to choose it again. So it's already base 4 soul. Imagine this is a direct attack as well. That's 5. Then we would play the 2 soul, for example. So this now becomes from 5 to 7. You then attack with this. On attack, give one of your characters 2 soul. Choose this. Makes it 9 soul. And then you would trigger a card. Say you trigger this, sure. And then you attack with this. You reveal the top card. It's a 2 soul, meaning this is now swinging for 11 soul quite easily without very little sweat. So you would swing for 11, and then you would Icy Tail 11. You can also distribute these rather than going to one character. You can do 1-on-1 to sort of make it so they're both doing bigger instances of Icy Tail. You've got so many options with this, and the flexibility is great. And again, if you want to reduce your damage output, you can just side quite easily as well. It's just really fun, and I love this deck. But that is the full deck. What do you think? Are there any changes that you would make past what I said regarding the Adisa Chasers? Now, bear in mind that this deck did cost me £20, and the whole idea of building this deck was to build a budget deck for less than 50. So the fact we've done it for 20 quid is actually awesome. So the fact you could build this and another deck for a budget deck, I think this is one of the budget decks to play. It's aggressive, it deals with 2 soul, it deals with standby. I actually love this deck, and I think that it definitely is a deck that is viable, especially given the cost. But what do you think? Are there any changes you would make? Are there any cards from the anniversary set that you think would improve this? Some double rares maybe, or some other rares? Any cards that you think would improve this deck, please let me know in the comments below. I really want to make this deck as optimal as possible without spending too much money. So let me know in the comments below if there's anything that you would change in this deck. But thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel if you are new here, and also hit that notification bell to be informed of when I next upload my YouTube videos. I upload every Tuesday and Friday on YouTube, and I stream every Monday and Thursday on Twitch, and also my Discord channel is in the link below, so check all those out please. That would be very much appreciated. But thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye!